IKIM FM, inspirasi utama anda. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good afternoon to the dear listeners of IKIM FM. You are tuning to Above and Beyond. I'm your host Badrusha Afrina, and Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for listening to us, for listening to this show where we try to seek how we can improve ourselves to go better and to go above and beyond in our lives. So dear listeners, if you are listening through the radio, be sure to check out our social media pages to get more updates on us and to listen to our shows online. So you also to feel free to share your thoughts and opinions on to this conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ikmfm, and also through our YouTube page, youtube.com/at ikmfm_my. So for today, our conversation, we're going to talk about the youth and also advocacy. So I have in the studio today is Alyaah Hani Anuar, who is a student who is currently pursuing Bachelor in Laws from University of Malaya. Assalamualaikum, Alyaah.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Miss Batusha.
It is such a pleasure to have you here in the studio with us today, Hani. So, Hani, today our topic is super youth, super future, such a, I would say, an interesting topic because our conversation is about trying to know about the power of the youth can bring in bringing changes to our future. And before we go deep into the conversation itself, could you first introduce a little bit about yourself?
Hello, all listeners. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Alyaah Hani Anuar, a 20 years old student of University Malaya. I would like to first thank IKIM FM for giving me the opportunity to be here today and perhaps soon share my experience, inshallah. I am an incoming third year student of Bachelor in Laws. It's nice to be here today, Alhamdulillah.
So Alia, you are such an active student. I would say, looking from your resume, you have a lot of relevant experiences. You are the deputy speaker of the House for the Parliament Mahasiswa University Malaya. You're also the representative of Law and Sharia Cluster for the National Congress. So in here also could see that it all related to the youth of parliamentary affairs. It is something that I'm sure some of our listeners are not quite well aware of. So, as I would say, an opening for today's discussion, can you share with us your experience of how you begin to get involved in youth parliamentary affairs? Share how what attracts you to it, and also some issues that you covered in that experience.
Thank you so much for the question. I believe it all began when I joined debate in school, where I started to develop interest in policy and social issues, and having that, strong urge to be a part of the change. I think my debate teacher saw this in me, and then she sent me to represent the school to a program by the State Assembly called Dewan Undangan Negeri Belia Kedah. I am living in Kedah. When I was 17 at that time, I advocated for reading culture among students, where I suggested a few improvements in the DILA program from a student standpoint. At that age, I believe reading is the success virtue, hence why I advocated for it. The next year, when I was 18, I joined a national program called Parlimen Wanita Muda Malaysia, where I represented my constituency as a woman youth, and I advocated for urgent request to pass the sexual harassment bill, looking at the arising issues concerning the same matter that year. Alhamdulillah, I got awarded by it, and a few months later, I remember my joy when the bill was really passed. From there, I just realized that one's voice can really make a difference, no matter how small you may think you are. Moving forward, when I was 19, I joined another national program called Persidangan Digital Dewan Muda Malaysia, where I advocated for the implementation of CSE, the Comprehensive Sexual Education, and Alhamdulillah, again, I got awarded by it. This experience of mine is not for me to boast, but to show that even if you are considered young or you feel intimidated by age, still, your opinions, if it holds a moral force and causes benefits to others, it will matter. To me, what it takes for you is to begin. So now, as stated earlier, I am in National Congress for Law and Sharia Cluster at the age of 20. I think I would like to share first the difference between advocacy and activism because not many of us know the difference. So, advocacy and activism both involve efforts to create change, and influence public opinion or policy, but they do differ in their approaches and focus. So, advocacy typically involves supporting a cause through organized efforts, such as legal actions or lobbying, often within established institutions. It aims to influence decision makers, raise awareness, and promote policy changes through reasoned, reasoned arguments and collaboration with stakeholders. And on the other hand, activism tends to be more grassroots and directly confrontational, seeking to mobilize public opinion and provoke change through protests, demonstration, or direct actions outside of formal channels. So these both advocacy and activism play essential roles in driving social change, with advocacy often providing the groundwork and legitimacy for broader activist efforts.
That's very impressive to listen to your sharing despite your very young age. But the things that you got involved is things that require the maturity, a high level of maturity, and quite a high level of intelligence. So you did mention on some of the issues that you covered is on the fighting for the student rights on the freedom. I would like to know more about that. So could you clarify further on that, and where do you actually see the lack in our system for the student rights?
Definitely. Thank you. So I think this question brings me back to my second year of law school. I was a part of the University Malaya Student Union for my faculty, where I spearheaded initiatives like releasing press statements of student views on certain national issues and a podcast on spreading awareness on youth rights to political knowledge. So these initiatives are symbolic of freedom of expressions as a student that not many are actually aware of that they may actually practice. So I also had the opportunity to publish media contents on spreading awareness of hashtag Free Palestine and joined multiple street demonstrations for Palestine in the capacity of a university student. This therefore supports, my belief that students should have the right to express their opinions and ideas without fear of censorship or retaliation. However, in some educational institutions, there may be restrictions on student speech, which can hinder open dialogue and critical thinking.
But nowadays, we already live in, I would say, advanced era of social media. Where nowadays you don't need, I would say, a big platform such as the newspaper or radio station to share your thoughts. You can even do it by applicating the usage of social media like Facebook, TikTok, and even YouTube. Right. So now everyone can share their thoughts with an easy of the hand. So, in your opinion, if we impose this censorship of trying to limiting people to share their opinion, what impact can it bring to the discourse of in sharing ideas in the public matter?
Of course, censorship has both, negative and positive impacts. But personally, for me, why is freedom of expression important? To students, especially, in my opinion, it empowers students to advocate for causes they believe in, whether it's
Hmm.
social justice or environmental sustainability, human rights, or other issues. It allows them
Hmm.
to, mobilize support, raise awareness, and challenge the societal norms.
Mm-hmm. And yet, with just now I mentioned as how easy it is. Why do you think that for the younger generation, still not many people are comfortable, or even have the confidence to share their opinion or even talk to the public?
I think in the very first place is that the youth don't even know the limitation to their rights.
Mm.
They don't know how far they can go in saying their opinions, and hence why
Mm-hmm.
people or young people do hesitate in giving their opinions.
I think it would be a good cause to share about it, or even to make a campaign to know about your rights or to know about the freedom, things that you can share to the public. And even I would say, in talking in this conversation, that another reason I think of why the students, they are not confident is because they're scared that because of their young age, they're scared that they don't have enough experience when sharing about something. But then, when you're talking about ideas can be from anyone, and good ideas doesn't take into the matter of the someone's young or even someone's experience. Now that you share all of these things, how does it help you to better understand about the world? Do you feel that you achieve something from it?
Okay, thank you for the question. Personally, for me, engaging in advocacy has personal and transformative effects on me.
Mm-hmm.
Advocacy exposes me to diverse perspectives and challenges within the education system, be it social or legal issues, and many more. It did deepen my understanding of social issues, the policy making processes, and the impact of decisions on individuals and communities. This broader perspective helps me see the interconnectedness of various issues and fosters empathy and critical thinking skills within me. And for your information and all the listeners out there, advocacy can be deeply fulfilling on a personal level. So when I see positive changes resulting from my efforts, whether it's improved policies, increased awareness, or tangible benefits for students, I experience a sense of accomplishment and purpose. Knowing that my actions have made a difference in the lives of others can definitely bring profound satisfaction for me. So the sense of achievement can also stem from the act of overcoming challenges, such as when it comes to advocacy, there is bureaucratic hurdles, resistance to change, or public apathy. So, successfully handling these challenges and achieving meaningful outcomes can boost my confidence and
Mm-hmm.
resilience. It reinforced my belief in the power of advocacy and encouraged continued efforts to create positive change.
Mm-hmm. So, dear listeners, feel free to share your thoughts and comment onto this conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ikimfm, and also through our YouTube page, youtube.com/adikimfm_my. So, we will go for a short break, and once we come back later, we will listen more from Alyaah Hani onto this conversation, Super Youth, Super Future. So, don't change the radio station. Stay tuned to Kim FM, inspirasi utama anda. Assalamualaikum. Welcome back. Just now, before we went for a break, we listened to Alyaah Hani's sharing on today's conversation, Super Youth, Super Future. So, Hani, just now, before we went for a break, you talk about the student rights and freedoms, right? And how does it change you in understanding about the world better? So, now let's talk about the power of dialogue. We know that for the fact that we as youth not just have the potential, but we actually can bring change to the world through our influence. And I think one of the factors is from the fact that we as the younger generation are more open-minded to new ideas or fresh perspectives, and this makes us more comfortable to changes. And talking about being open-minded and being new openness to this new concept in this context, of course, that involves having conversations from multiple angle views. So I would like to ask for your opinion, because I believe when you involve in the National Congress, in the Parliament of Mahasiswa, right? We've been listening to a lot of views that can be aligned or even opposing to the view that you hold. So I would like to ask from that perspective, what are the benefits of engaging in dialogue with people who hold opposing views?
Thank you so much for the question. First of all, since we are living in a democratic society, engaging in dialogue with diverse perspectives is of course very important. So for
Mm,
youth advocates, this engagement is particularly important as it promotes effective participation in public discourse. Well, here's the thing. When we interact with individuals who have different opinions, we gain a broader understanding of the issue at hand, which will help us see beyond our own viewpoint and consider perspectives that we might not have initially considered. We
mm,
are challenged to, of course, articulate our own beliefs more clearly and to critically evaluate our own positions. So in youth advocacy, this is invaluable because it
mm,
allows us to develop more inclusive and comprehensive solutions that address diverse needs. And not just that, I think it will foster empathy within ourselves. It allows us to appreciate the experiences and concerns of others, even if we
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with their conclusions. This empathy, I believe, is essential in advocacy work as it enables us to communicate effectively and respectfully with a wide range of
Mm-hmm.
stakeholders, including perhaps policymakers and community members. This empathy will then often reveal shared goals or values that are obscured by surface level differences. And in youth advocacy,
Mm-hmm.
finding common ground with those who hold opposing views can be a powerful catalyst for collaboration and coalition building because it
Mm-hmm.
enables us to work towards the shared objectives despite differing approaches or ideologies.
Mm-hmm. And of course, even I believe for yourself, being involved in so many activities, in so many, I would say, in organizations, it's going to take a lot of your energy. And we talk about energy, it can be your physical and even, I would say, something that related to the mental energy. And of course, these will impose some sort of stress onto you, and especially we at the very young age, the youth, right? Could you suggest some realistic ways on how we can cope with stress, especially related in the today's context?
Mm. In breaking down those pressure or stress or heavy emotions, it would always be helpful for one to have a coping mechanism, of course, a healthy one. So, if
Mm-hmm.
you are yet to have one coping mechanism you may rely on, you should try to experiment a few and find which one helps you best. Personally,
Mm-hmm.
I find it helpful to either go for a brisk walk or journaling or taking a break. I will
Mm-hmm.
elaborate on this individually. First, for brisk walk, stepping outside, especially in a natural setting if possible, helps me clear my mind and release the build up tension perhaps from the advocacy work that I've done. So in
Mm-hmm.
my campus, Alhamdulillah, there's a lake in front of my college. So I often walk around there while enjoying the natural view.
Enjoying the
So
fresh air. Mm-hmm.
yep, the physical activity and change of scenery provide a refreshing break from whatever may be causing stress for me. And I personally suggest taking a brisk walk early in the morning because your body and brain will feel so fresh after the walk. Second,
Mm-hmm.
journaling. Writing down my thoughts, my feelings, my concerns in a journal helps me untangle my emotions effectively. It's a
Mm-hmm.
private space for me where I can reflect on challenges, I can document my progress, and sometimes even brainstorm solutions to problems that are causing stress to me. Also, I am the kind of person who likes to be reminded of the challenges I have passed through, just to make myself aware of how strong I can mentally be, and also serve a reminder that this stress, this
Uh,
time too, shall pass.
mm-hmm.
So, thirdly, have you ever heard of screen detox?
I think I've never heard of that before.
Okay, so screen detox is a concept that we reduce to or eliminate the use of digital screens or gadgets
Ah.
temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
concept that lessens the exposure to digital stimuli and
Uh-huh.
encourages more mindful offline activities. So, taking a
Uh-huh.
break from screens allows my mind to rest and reduce cognitive fatigue. So, screen detox encourage me to be more present in the moment. So, instead of mindlessly scrolling through feeds or checking my emails, I can
Uh-huh.
focus on activities that promote mindfulness, such as reading the book, going for a walk, or engaging in a
Mm-hmm.
face to face conversation. So, this helps me reduce my anxiety and promotes a sense of calm to me. But
Mm-hmm.
for your knowledge and everyone else's, each person's journey in managing stress is unique. So, it's important to
Yes.
explore different techniques and find
Mm-hmm.
what works best for you personally.
Mm-hmm. And talking about the screen detox, it's very interesting because I've heard about it before of how easy it is to get attached to your phone, and trying to detox, trying to stop is very very hard because when you are being used to onto your phone, your brain being used to all this serotonin, all this dopamine, and when you try to stop it, suddenly your brain have to adapt to the low level of the all these good or positive hormones. So this is something that can be explored more into. Right. Going further into the conversation. I would like to still talking about the intense pressure, especially the pressure that being imposed to us, the younger generation. Of course, we cannot compare to the pressure that the past generation experienced, because we cannot compare. We don't know the level or how far exert the pressure being there, but. For obviously can be seen is like how many it is, how many, if you can see on the social media, of how many younger generation nowadays feel pressure, from the education, from their family, and all the multiple factors. So now, still talking about intense pressure. Of course, the conversation of mental health is commonly being talked about. I think it is important for many people to talk about it, to have awareness about the importance of mental health. So, can you share with us about how can it be relayed into the younger generation, especially on advocacy of it, and how does it can benefit the future generation?
Thank you so much for the question. I believe for the purpose of answering, I will focus more on students because I am a
Mm-hmm.
student.
Mm-hmm.
So the importance of mental health for students is of course cannot be overstated, especially given the intense pressure that they often face in today's societal expectations and comparing culture we have. So as a student, I can vouch that mental health will directly impact academic performance. So
Mm-hmm.
when students are mentally healthy, we can concentrate better, retain information effectively, and perform well in exams. So, conversely, untreated mental health issues like anxiety or depression may significantly hinder our academic performance. So, I would like to point out that young people are at a critical stage of emotional and social development. So,
Mm-hmm.
good mental health will positively impact one's relationship, one's self esteem, and one's emotional resilience. It helps us form meaningful connections and cope with, any setbacks in our life effectively. So, providing accessible and effective mental health resources will ensure that young people can thrive, perhaps academically, emotionally, and socially, and contributing to a healthier and more resilient generation.
Mm-hmm. And as we are reaching the end of this conversation, what are some of the advice you can share with us on how we can encourage the younger generation to participate in this political discourse, and ways on how they can prep themselves?
All right. So, to all the young listeners out there, I want to emphasize that your voice matters in shaping the future of our communities and our country, Malaysia. If you are interested in preparing yourself better for this, you may first educate yourself about your civic rights and responsibilities. Understanding how the political system works and the impact of policies on our daily lives is also very crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So, knowledge will empower you to make informed decisions and advocate for issues you care about. And developing critical thinking skills and media literacy is very important as well. With
Mm-hmm.
so much information out there, it's important to be able to distinguish between reliable sources and a misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Question what you read or view, engage in respectful dialogue, and always seek and respect diverse perspective. These
Mm-hmm.
experiences not only build connections, but also give you first-hand insight into how policies are shaped and how you can influence change. You may
Mm-hmm.
seek mentorship from leaders you admire, you may hone your public speaking skills, and learn about the issues that matter most to your community. Every step you take prepares you to be a more effective advocate and leader, inshallah.
Mm-hmm. So I really like listening to that. Knowing that there are younger generation out there who are patient on bringing changes to the world. It's not that we would like to completely changing it. We actually were trying to explain it. Yeah, it's like how we could improve it on having a better future. And just like you mentioned just now, try to get reliable sources. Nowadays we have a lot of information, and how easy it is to share misinformation. So you have to be careful on the information that you consume. Try to find the reliable one. Look at the sources where they get the citation, and the information that being conveyed. Does it like have any bias into it? And also we talk about the engage in dialogue, where just now in the conversation we talk about and having conversation with those with different views, and it does actually can bring something for you. And try not to put aside on things that you're trying to fight for it, because what we're trying to hear, we're trying to seek here is the truth of something. So, with that being said, I would like to thank Alyaah Hani Anuar for her insights on today's conversation on super youth and super future. So, with that being said, also would like to thank you for listening to us, and we hope that this sharing will be informational and also inspiring to those who are listening to us, either through radio or even through our social media pages, Facebook and YouTube. And again, Alia, thank you for being with us. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much, Ron.